Hello, everybody, and we welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin. Glad to be with you once again here at LaSalle TV. As you know, this program is broadcast on Comcast Channel 56 and on Verizon Channel 36, 7 days a week. Today on the program, in our first segment, we're going to talk about food safety, and Tanya Stewart will be our guest. She's a proud owner of Food Safety Essentials. And then when we turn the page a little bit later on in the program, we are shining the spotlight on a nonprofit organization known as Uplift Solutions Inc. And Mr. Atif Bostic, the executive director, is here, and he'll tell that story. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Be here, Thera Martin, with you on this edition of News You Can Use.
Very much good to have you.
Wow.
Good to see you.
It is good to see you, but you didn't say that. You said you can use Rebooted. I'm Thera Martin, and I am glad to be back at LaSalle TV. Hello, everybody. We're back. Glad to be with you for this edition of News You Can Use. And today in our first segment, we want to talk about food safety and handling food properly. Now, we can't get through everything that you need to know, but I think we maybe can save a few lives as we do this program. Tanya Stewart, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here today and share some valuable information with you and your the viewers.
And you are representing on behalf of your business, Food Safety Essentials. You've been around since what, 2006, you said?
Yes, since 2006. I'm a woman-owned business based here in Philadelphia, and I have serviced thousands of clients over the years, primarily in Philadelphia, but I do the entire Delaware Valley.
Now, what I like about your history that you shared with me is that before you got to the point where you are today, owning your own business, Food Safety Essentials, at one point you were in the nonprofit world and you worked at one of the agencies that Allegheny West Foundation partners with all the time to help provide food to those that need it in our service area, in our community. Philabundance, right?
Yes, that's correct. Actually, when I worked there, when I first started there, it was the Greater Philadelphia Food Bank, and later on it became Philabundance. And in my role there, I was responsible for programs and trainings. And one of the programs that we brought into the organization was the food safety training program. So that's how I actually got my start.
Okay, so fast forward to where we are right now. Me, again, working at this nonprofit organization, Allegheny West Foundation, we have a new recreation center that's going to be built in the next 12 months or so, give or take a little bit of time, Philadelphia rebuild. And so as a part of getting this new building, we got a brand new kitchen coming, and the City of Philadelphia, Department of Health, and L&I, they want to know who in your organization has a Serve Safe certificate, a 5-year Serve Safe certificate, plus the other Serve Safe certificates are good too. But we had to have at least one person on staff that had a 5-year Serve Safe. So my boss says, you, Thera, you're going. I'm like, oh my God. Because everybody wants to know, well, Thera, you getting ready to open a restaurant? Why didn't you get a Serve Safe certificate? Why did you have to take that training? It's for my job, just so that we can be correct with this brand new kitchen that we have coming up and this brand new recreation center that is coming. So enter Tanya Stewart. We got your name amongst other business names from the City of Philadelphia. They recommended a group of names, and I said, oh, I like this one, Overbrook. I know Overbrook, and I thought I was coming to you. Long story short, you ended up coming to me, bought the book. Nice size book, a lot of reading, a lot of studying to prepare. And then the day of the exam, you spent about 4 or 5 hours with me and another of my colleagues drilling us and making sure we knew what we were supposed to be doing. And then we took the test. Okay, all of that said, I learned so much from you and from studying the book to prepare for the Serve Safe training. And I think there's a lot of things that we regular, everyday citizens who are not trying to have a restaurant or anything, just in our homes, that we might be doing wrong. First example I'll give, a chopping board. For years, I operated with one chopping board. I only had one chopping board. And then I come to find out, particularly with the training, you need to have a chopping board that's for your meats, another one for your vegetables. Talk to us.
Sure. One of the big challenges is preventing cross-contamination. And in our homes, we typically have one chopping board. Ideally, we would say that if you could do different chopping boards or cutting boards and color code them, then you could have, for example, a green one to represent vegetables, a yellow one for poultry, and so forth. Now, let's say you don't have the ability to have multiple cutting boards. There's always more than one way to solve something. you could simply clean and sanitize in between uses. So you would do one thing at a time and then make sure that you properly cleaned and sanitized the cutting board in between. You don't want to transfer bacteria from one food or surface to another. And so that's why you want to make sure that you either have the separate cutting boards or that you are doing the cleaning and sanitizing in between.
Okay, let's talk about that sanitizing for a moment. Give us the heads up on what we should do.
Okay, for sanitizing, a simple solution that you can create at home is a capful of bleach per gallon of water. Now, you also can buy or purchase the sanitizing wipes that you can buy that are already pre-soaked. Either one is fine. Probably the capful of bleach per the gallon of water is a little cheaper, but you do want to create a sanitizing solution. Sanitizing is much different than just cleaning something. Cleaning is just using soapy water. So when we use the term sanitizing, we're talking about reducing any bacteria or even viruses that might be on that surface. And so that's why you have to use the proper solution. It's important to mix it properly, though. You don't want to make it too strong. Sometimes we feel that you have to be able to smell the bleach in order for it to be working. Yeah. And that actually is a hint that you've made it too strong. So you want to make sure that you make the proper solution and then use it properly, which means that after you sanitize, you want to let it air dry for a few minutes before you put any food on that surface.
Okay. So now back on cross-contamination with our knives and cutting meat or then cutting the onions, we need to use different knives.
Again, ideally, use different knives or just make sure you're cleaning and sanitizing in between. Normally, we will have multiple knives in our home, so it wouldn't be a problem probably to have different knives. You just want to make sure that you're mindful of making sure that you're not, again, using the same utensil or same knife on one thing and then another.
All right, let's talk about Cousin Jamila and the cookouts in the summertime. Cousin Jamila is the most fabulous of our family members. This is a make-believe person. She's got nails this long, and she insists about making the potato salad and the tuna salad, and she wants to be all hands in on stuff. Never seen the lady put rubber gloves on and these long nails, and she's got the little diamond drops on them. They're lovely, but I'm thinking about my stomach, and if the piece of that little diamond falls off of her nail while she's mixing the salad and she's not using gloves, that's going in somebody's stomach.
Right. And we love Cousin Jamila, but we would insist strongly that she wears gloves. Ideally, if you worked in a restaurant setting.
Clip those nails.
Yeah, or clip the nails. She might not like that option. But if you worked in a restaurant setting, normally you're not allowed to wear nail polish or the acrylic nails. We tell you to have short, clean nails. There's always a way to around it. You can glove, which you just mentioned for Cousin Jamila. So Jamila could glove. The only challenge would be if the nails are really, really long, they might tear through the glove. So we'd have to make sure that her nails are short enough if she's going to have the acrylic nails, that gloving is an option. We definitely would not want her doing it barehanded because as you mentioned, we don't want the diamonds. As much as it might be to have a diamond, you don't want to get it that way.
Okay, so I'm trying to get as much in as I can in the segment that we have for you. So in the summertime, and again, the picnics and the cookouts coming up and all that good stuff, potato salad, the salads I'm always concerned about when I'm going to cookouts or I'm having one and I'm inviting family over, about how long you can leave things out. If they should come in proper containers to keep things cool. Right. But what's the danger zone with salads when you're out and it's 85 degrees, 90 degrees outside?
Right. It's a particular challenge for us when we're outside of our homes. We do want to maintain cold foods cold. So we would obviously tell you to have an ice chest and to keep the potato salad in the ice chest as much as possible. If for whatever reason you're not able to maintain proper temperature control, normally we say after 4 hours of an item like potato salad sitting out, it should be disposed of. So that means there would be no leftovers. It's like you're going to use whatever you can within that time frame, and then you would have to toss it. If you keep it cold, then you should be able to keep it and use it throughout the function.
Okay. Another major mistake I think a lot of people in the kitchen make in our homes is when it comes to taking food out of the freezer to thaw. I am the guilty one here. Until you. And so that's what, 2 months ago. So all these years, 60-some years, I've been doing this where I take food out of the freezer and I put it on the countertop and go on about my business, and then I'll check back later on to see is it still hard or is it ready to go? And you're saying
No, I call that Mama's method, named after my mother, who also did the same thing. She was a working woman, and she would take the meat out in the morning and go to work, and 8 hours later, when she came home, she would cook the food.
Yes.
I, similar to you, did the same thing for many years until I came into the field of food safety. And at that point, I learned that it is not a safe way to thaw. You should either take it out the freezer and put it in the bottom of the refrigerator, just make sure it's not dripping into any other products. You can thaw with running water. The key is the term running water. So not sitting in a container of water, but you could have it in a container with the water constantly running into the container, down the drain so that the water stays fresh. You could use that method. You can thaw in the microwave, but you have to be ready to cook it in a regular oven right away. Or depending on the product, you can thaw while you're cooking it, like a frozen hamburger patty, for example. You could take it out, throw it right on the grill, and it's gonna thaw and cook at the same time.
Okay. All right, before we really run out of time, gotta let people know how they can find food safety essentials, because you do training all over the Delaware Valley. You will come to where the students are. So how can people be in touch?
So the best way to reach me is via phone at 215-253-9437, or you can email me at F as in Frank, S as in Sam, E as in egg, the word class @gmail.com. Either one of those methods would get to me, and I am very good at getting back to people quickly. I am a private trainer, as you indicated, so I do go to the students. So I go to where you need me to go. And everything is typically done in one day unless the student prefers some other type of setup.
But you gotta study, you gotta do your studying before Miss Tanya Stewart comes, let me tell you that. Thank you so much for peeking in on the program today. Thank you for all that you taught me. You're in my head all the time. I don't know if I like that or not. And when I'm in the kitchen, I'm hearing your voice, like, don't do it that way, Thera. And I'm breaking old habits that were not good habits in the kitchen that nobody ever taught me before. And I'm the child of a master chef from the Army, but there were things Dad never taught, or I wasn't paying attention. But thank you for being here. We appreciate you so much, and all the best as you go forward with your business.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll be back in just a moment, and Mr. Atif Bostic, he's up next. Stay with us. Okay, they'll tell you when you can move.
Dear University of...
Thank you for your offer.
To become student ID number 283471.
While I appreciate your desire
For my impeccable academic record,
I must decline the opportunity.
to get a generic degree,
I've decided to tell my story.
To be a student.
not a statistic.
I wish you good luck in the future.
As I embark on mine.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. These programs cover doctor's appointments, hospital visits, prescriptions, shots, and more. As parents, we get peace of mind knowing that our children are covered if they are sick or get injured. You may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if you've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Making just one connection during recovery from mental and substance use disorders can put the strength of family and community behind you. We're all connected, offering encouragement, support, and hope. Join the Voices for Recovery. Strengthen families and communities.
And we're back. Glad to be with you once again for this edition of News You Can Use. And my guest right now is Mr. Atif Bostic. He is the CEO of Uplift Solutions Inc. I'm so glad to have you.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
You all are doing amazing, amazing work. You got so much going on, exciting things happening. Can you talk about what the mayor is going to be doing with Uplift Solutions Inc. at all?
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit, right? So in 2023, we had an opportunity to respond to an RFP. And in that response, we were awarded a contract to work with the city to develop neighborhood resource centers for the city. And what's exciting about that is that those neighborhood resource centers have become part of the mayor's 100-day initiatives. And so more to come on that soon. There's some things that I think that we want to be a surprise for some people, but I will tell you that these neighborhood resource centers are going to be sites where it brings the resources that are available in Center City into the communities. Yeah,
and that's what's up. That's what's up. We'll look forward to hearing more about that at the appropriate time. But for people who are not familiar with Uplift Solutions Inc., give the background.
Absolutely. So Uplift Solutions was founded in 2009, and we were originally founded to eradicate food deserts across the country. I joined the organization in 2015, and during that time, coming into 2016, 2017, what we recognized was obviously there was a transition in the White House. And during that transition, there were a lot of promises made, threats made, and a lot of concern with how things were going to be funded. And so we had to start thinking about how can we be most effective as an organization. And we started to look at what our skills and abilities were, and we thought workforce was a great avenue for us to get into. So in 2017, we actually launched a program called Workforce Solutions. And Workforce Solutions is almost a misnomer because it actually focuses on how do we successfully reintegrate justice impacted or formerly incarcerated individuals back into society. And so the basis of our training is actual behavioral change. And then at the end of that, we teach them a trade, whether it's HVAC, CDL, retail, and then place them with employers.
Now, there was a relationship between the ShopRite supermarkets and Uplift?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and thank you for asking about that because I think that's one of the things that we talk about all the time. And so Uplift Solutions was founded by Jeff Brown in 2009. And so you fast forward into 2017, where we started to pivot and make a transition to workforce development. We were able to partner with ShopRite because of Jeff's relationship with Uplift and obviously relationship with ShopRite to guarantee jobs. And so that allowed us to pivot while giving us a competitive advantage in the marketplace. And I will tell you that we've evolved and we've added more programs, and now we have HVAC, a CDL, we have a same-day work and pay, we're behind the walls. But great relationship. It was a great opportunity to be able to partner with Jeff and obviously ShopRite.
Now you also have a partnership, correct me if I'm wrong, with Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church.
That's right.
Okay.
So we actually have a training center at Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church East on Cheltenham Avenue. And so we do life skills training there as well as our retail, and we just moved HVAC there as well. So they're a great partner.
So then for individuals who would come into Uplift Solutions Inc. and say they're interested in the food industry, so they would perhaps get a training from someone who would do a serve safe, and then they could work at Jeff Brown's, one of his bakeries or his meat department or something like that.
Yeah, so that's just about right. One of the things that though we focused on was not necessarily being order takers. And what I mean by that is someone may come in and say, hey, I want to do this, but we actually put them through a intake process that evaluates where they should be and what they should be doing. And a lot of times you'll find that people actually have more skills and abilities than they give themselves credit for. And so they may come in and say, hey, I want to work in the bakery, and we evaluate them and say, well, you have a driver's license, you actually like to be on the road, you work independently, CDL may be the thing for you. And so while they come in and ask us for that, we actually evaluate them and make sure that we place them in the right training program that's going to give them the very best outcomes.
Okay. So like how long of a period, what's the course length like?
So it depends on which program you're in. So retail is about 6 weeks. Our CDL program is 12 weeks, and then our HVAC program is 10 weeks. So it really depends on that. Now, the basis of the program is actually the life skills I talked about.
Yes.
And through that life skills, we provide cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy. We do benefits navigation, so we connect you to any public benefit that is available to you. We also address issues of housing and childcare through that process as well. And then we train you to do the job.
Okay. So now, the students who come to you, do you take men and women? Do you have to have come out of a challenging background such as incarceration, or can you just be somebody who just needs a hand up?
Yeah. So Thera, and that's a great question. That's one that we wrestle with quite a bit. At this point, at first when we started, we took returning citizens, so individuals that were incarcerated and coming back from prison. Yes. And then we expanded that definition to include justice-impacted individuals, so individuals that are impacted by the criminal justice system. And so you do have to be impacted in some way. And the reason for that is that cognitive behavioral therapy, the dialectical behavioral therapy, that you have to be like situated when you actually go through the program, because we're building cohorts for individuals to support one another.
And are you able to, I know you've been able to touch so many lives since Uplift Solutions Inc. got started, but are you able to track some of your success stories so you can brag about it later on?
We do. Okay. That's actually one of the most exciting things, is being able to track those success stories and hear from our alumni. And so we have over 1,000 alumni that have gone through the program and have been placed in employment. And some of the success stories are getting off of probation and parole, but others are buying houses, getting married, having children, reunifying with their families.
Yeah. You make me think about myself walking down the street, minding my own business, and one of my ladies from the classes that I used to teach at the prison at 17th and Cambria, they would come up to me, Miss Thera, look, I'm married now. See, I'm married. Or holding the hand of a little child and say, Miss Thera, look, I got my child back. And then one lady I recall I ran into a few years ago and says, Miss Thera, I'm now the supervisor at Jeff Brown's Bakery.
That's right.
On at 52nd and Parkside Avenue. Those are the success stories that charge me up, to keep me going, that make me want to continue to do some of the work that I do. And I believe in trying to help people who've made a bad choice to get back on track.
That's absolutely right. One in particular that I'll speak to is a gentleman that went through our program. I believe he's in the 6th cohort. And we're in like our 50th cohort. And he's in the 6th cohort. And so he went and actually worked for ShopRite after the 6th cohort. And we were able to hire him into the program, and he's now, or the organization, and he's now a community engagement specialist and reentry specialist for us. And you listen to his story and where he's come from and where he is. He says, I have a record longer than a CVS receipt. And I think we all know what that means.
They're pretty long.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that is so special. And thank God that Uplift Solutions Inc. exists and that you all are doing what you're doing today. So for people who want to know more, how can they be engaged?
Absolutely. So you can find us on the internet, www.upliftsolutions.org, Uplift Solutions on any social media platform as well.
Okay. And do you have more than one location where you do trainings and all of that?
We do. So we have E9, like you mentioned before. We also have North 10. We partner with North 10. And then we're opening, in partnership with Allegheny West Foundation, a location on Hunting Park between 22nd and 23rd Street. So we have multiple locations across the city and are looking to open even more.
Okay. Now, another part of the challenge for people who are coming out of incarceration and looking for work, and so once you even get them through the training, sometimes it's about looking right for the job interview. You all take care of that piece too, don't you?
We take care of everything. And so just as our mission says, reducing barriers for justice-involved individuals, we look at whatever the barrier is, so whether it's housing, childcare, clothing, we resolve all of those issues, including mental health. So.
That's very good and so very needed for sure. All right, I want you to put out the website again. If there's a phone number that we can share, we want you to do that as well.
Absolutely. So the website again is www.upliftsolutions.org. And actually, I would recommend you go there because you can actually fill out the interest form, and then we'll call you right back and get right back to you. So I think that's really the best place. Or reach us on social media. DM us. I mean, it really doesn't matter. We'll get back to you.
Finally, before we run out of time, a thought that you can leave with our viewing audience about civic duties, being engaged, being involved, and helping to uplift our community, because that's what I see you doing.
Yeah. So I think it's extremely important, right? So, one of the things I pride myself on is identifying problems and trying to solve them. And I think we all have a responsibility to thinking about how we can give back and how we can be of service to other people and to our communities and organizations. So I would say get involved with any organization you can, especially where you see there's an opportunity for growth or change. Yeah.
Well, I know you are an extremely busy man. Every time I talk to you, you are just coming out of a meeting, going into a meeting. You're all over the place, but in a good way.
Thank
so
you.
God bless you and your family for supporting you in your endeavors to help make Philadelphia better. That's what's up.
Thera,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate you
welcome.
so very much. And I should also add that Atif Bostic is one of our members of the board of directors for the Allegheny West Foundation, and we are so lucky to have him. In closing, I want to remind you that I host a radio program on WWDB every Wednesday. That's on the air 8 to 9 a.m. on 860 a.m. And then on Saturdays, I host the Electric Magazine Show on WURD. That's on the air from 7 to 8 a.m. every Saturday. And we try to share good information with all of the media outlets that we are blessed to be a part of. And that would also include the Scoop USA Media newspaper, where we have been writing columns for over 40 some years. Yeah, when you get Thera, Thera hangs in there with you for sure. So we want to encourage you to stay positive out here. We've just come out of a primary election as we were taping this show. So by the time people see this show, the election will be behind us. And that means it's really do or die time, folks, as we head towards November and the November general election. That is on the second Tuesday of the month in November. And so we want people to be engaged, get involved. In fact, that's the first Tuesday of the month. It's general election time. Make for sure you get registered to vote. You got to be involved in the political process. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for checking us out. Bye-bye.